going to be a brief video. Had to come out and sit with the rocks and talk about the Cancer new moon, July 5th. This new moon is at 14 degrees Cancer, almost 15 degrees, conjunct Venus, as was the last new moon in Gemini. We have Mercury just coming off an exact opposition with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Interestingly, there's been a lot of interesting developments with Mercury. Mercury trined Neptune before opposing that Pluto in Aquarius. So there could have been some messages there around things we may need to let go of or that have been overdone, because Neptune at the last degree of its own sign, this is the depth of the ocean, right? And what's in the collective unconscious that we've been personally carrying, that's time to release. Maybe it's a way of thinking, a way of believing. Things we've picked up that isn't us, isn't our natural essence. Something we've tried along the way, you know. Mercury opposing Pluto retrograde could have been definitely, because it's an opposition, coming from something in the outside world, something other than us that we're relating with. And I don't know about you, but for me, I've had a lot of encounters with animals with that Pluto and the Mercury opposition. Had an interesting encounter with an owl. Very deep message through that encounter. Hi! Ah, yeah, just as I was walking up, there's so many. I don't... Oh. Thanks, you too. So... there are some deep messages in that encounter. And then I just came up here and there's so many geese. So many geese. Geese always kind of feel like family, which is very related to the Cancerian consciousness. It's our first tribe, quote unquote, you know, first group. Maybe that's a more appropriate word. Some people might be offended by me using the word tribe, but tribe has such a great association with it. Always, you know, it's your people who support you and who you support as well. And so I think one of the things that can be happening is we could have been finding some stuff that might even relate to the first group, our first quote unquote tribe, or, you know, our first home, original home, our mother, our father, stuff that we might have some aha moments because Mercury is opposing Pluto and Aquarius. So we might have memories surface that we see in a new way or a different way, or that maybe we need to see in a new way or a different way. So this new moon can help us. That Mercury opposing Pluto is really perfect timing right before the new moon, it being exact, because that would definitely bring up any pressurized ideas we've got swimming around in the unconscious that isn't really working for us. So there could have been tension or pressure to kind of dislodge that out of our consciousness and recognize how it's been such a part of our consciousness that it's unconscious. It just operates without us even needing to choose anymore, you know, automatic default, right? And this is important because Mars is coming and approaching this Balsamic conjunction to Uranus, which is in Taurus, which will be on July 15th. And Also, Mars sextiling Saturn retrograde. So, Mars, Saturn, and Uranus have a very important planetary relationship, because Mars is how we act upon what we desire. It's instinctual for us to do that, unless we've been conditioned to believe that we cannot act upon our desires in some way. Maybe we've taken on a belief that we can't have that or want that or do that. Or that that we wouldn't be good at it, or, whatever. That we don't deserve it, or that just isn't our lot in life, or whatever, These could have been old ideas from our familial line that we're getting the opportunity to have them dislodged, cleaned up, because that's what Mercury and Pluto does. So just in time for this new moon, so that we can actually recognize a new way, the new us, the new identity that's emerging now, and the new chapters in our lives that are emerging now. And what is it that is going to actually build a foundation to what we want, and that supports us exactly how we desire to be supported, and where we are showing up for ourselves completely by actually acting upon what we want and desire, and pivoting where we need to, where we don't feel like we can be ourselves, or we don't feel like our creativity is able to expand. We don't feel like we can completely be in our own space. We don't feel like we can actually take up space with who we really are. This is important with the South Node in Libra, because South Node in Libra wants us to let go of any relating styles that is actually inhibiting the full expression of ourselves. North Node Aries, right? So Mars, as it relates to Saturn, is we take action time and time and time again towards what we want, and then it just builds a momentum, and then we just start laying the foundations, and pretty soon you've already got the solid foundation. It's supporting you to build upon that and actually do the next detailed stuff, to make it, refine it, continue to expand and support you. And that's its relationship to Uranus, because Uranus is building the new. It's constructing the new. It's filling in the gaps from past, present, future, which is all happening now, right? So this is where memories that can come up can help us, because we can keep projecting the past onto the present, and then therefore onto the quote-unquote future. So we can be noticing our instincts and noticing, now think about Mars. Our instincts are always going to be about what we're feeling. So what we're feeling is showing what we're believing. So if we're believing something that feels constricting, then it is. And we'll feel it. We won't like the feeling, right? But if we're believing something that expands us, it makes us feel excited and passionate, and like fans the flame of our Mars, it's sexy. It's like, yes, this is creative. Then that's where we build the foundation to that, right? And we can release the ideas and the beliefs that aren't really ours, but somehow we just osmose them from being around them so much. We didn't even realize what we were really around. And we go out into the world and we learn new things, we expand, right? And remembering that this is all coming off of a new moon in Gemini that we had. Then we had a full moon in Capricorn at 0, right? The beginning, or 1 degree, I think it was, and almost 2 degrees. And then now a new moon in Cancer. Then we're going to have a full moon in Capricorn at the very last degree of Capricorn, which is 29 Capricorn. And I think that might be July 21st. So we had the full moon in Cap on June 21st. The second full moon in Capricorn is on July 21st. So I'm gonna let you see this beautiful family here, little tribe of geese. So basically, we want to see that Mars acts on our instincts, right? And then that's coming from our moon. And so we can actually project our past ego, the moon. The moon is the mind and it's the ego. It's moon as mind is actually coming from the fact that we have Gemini season and then we have Cancer season. So this is where, as I like to call it, I have a haiku for Cancer season. It's water mirrors sky, expression of another, condensed and heavy. So water is where we're actually feeling the psychic impressions of the ideas we've been entertaining and the beliefs that we're holding underneath the surface of the waters, right? So this is where we want to be noticing our instincts, noticing where we get irritated, frustrated, or angry, and notice that there's some ideas behind that we can actually dismantle so that we can build the secure foundation that we desire. And trusting ourselves to do that one step at a time if we have to, right? Remember that Mercury is a psychopomp, and Mercury rules Virgo, so it's like Virgo, and Gemini, ruled by Mercury, this is where Mercury can traverse all the realms. And so that means above, in all the layers, to the middle world, all the layers, to the underworld or the underneath, and what's underneath consciousness, and it's where it can track step by step, moment to moment. Getting from here to there. Just by our very ideas, our thoughts, triggered by our feelings triggered by thoughts. So that connection with mind and emotion, energy and motion. So the new moon in Cancer, this is where we can seed new ideas around our security, new understandings about how we can feel at home no matter where we are, no matter what situation we are. And if we don't feel at home, we're probably entertaining some ideas that are not meant for us, or that we've outgrown, or that we picked up along the way that isn't really resonant with our natural essence, our natural spirit. I think that's what the Mercury opposing Pluto is all about, so that we can actually shine our light and express our light where we shine, where we thrive. And that's really the integration piece of Mars conjunct Uranus on July 15th, is really integrating and acting upon the ideas that is right for us personally. That Gemini new moon was super creative, super creative. We had Sun, Moon, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, all in Gemini, stacked up. And it was, the Sun, Moon conjunct the Venus star point in Gemini at 14 degrees. And then Mercury and Jupiter were conjunct behind the Sun, catching up to the, those planets. So it was extremely creative. Gemini is one of the most creative, if not the most creative sign, because it's all about connection, how we make connections in the brain, how we make connections with each other. We share information, we receive information in order to self-actualize our light and to tell our story, to live our story, the story that we desire to live, the story that is reflective of our relationship to ourselves. And I know, a lot of what's been coming up for me is this integration of the two opposite sides of our being, this side of us that has a shadow and a brilliant light, and that we utilize both sides in order to create in this dimension. And that it's through that creation we learn and grow and expand our consciousness and move on to create more and more and more, right? So any seed point, Sun Moon conjunction, or any kind of a conjunction is a seed point, and it is about initiating what has been hidden, initiating the unfolding of what has been hidden, initiating this seed in consciousness, this idea that's in the mind, but it's not out there yet. And so as the Sun and Moon conjunct, it's that seed point, and it begins to open and unfold and unfurl and open and open and open and open all the way into the full moon in fullness. And then we can see the full reflection of what we've been seeding. So this is something to think about. And the Cancer Capricorn axis in consciousness is about our internal security. It's about how we are structuring our consciousness internally based on our ideas and beliefs we're subscribing to and acting upon and reinforcing. And so just want to say this again, notice the memories and notice if there's memories that make you cringe, and then if so, is there another way of looking at that memory in the way in which it actually supports you? Because ultimately everything is supporting us. Just like even the dark supports the light. The light also supports the dark. It goes both ways. They're contrasting, right? We have days and nights, and we have all in between. So really honoring the fullness of creation, which is also the things we kind of think we don't want, right? Or the things that we don't know how to integrate because they seem negative, but maybe we can transmute them, which is a Plutonian thing. And also a Mercury thing. Mercury opposing Pluto. How can we transmute just by how we're looking at something? I've had this lesson a lot in the last like 2 months. It's been big. So yeah, so the circle opens at the new moon, and then at the full moon on July 21st, it will be complete at 29 degrees. And then we're going to be in Leo season. So maybe I'll come back on and do a video. Maybe I won't. I'm not sure, because my videos and trying to video type things has been really interesting. I've had to surrender a lot and trust that I'm being moved in new ways around making videos. And I'm having to get my ego out of the way and actually receive the downloads rather than what I think I should be doing. Actually receive the expansion that wants to come in and surrendering so that it can, rather than trying to control it and, you know, thinking I have to have this video out. I want to, but it hasn't been working out. So it's been interesting. So there's been a lot of surrender for me, which makes sense with Neptune at 29 degrees. Saturn is also opposing my natal moon. So the transits are rocking my chart. So if you haven't seen me on the channel lately, that's why. I'm doing my own work. But the idea is that as I'm doing that, I'm going to have so much more to share. And I'm really excited about it. So receiving the messages. And part of receiving the messages is seeing the opposite point of view, or seeing where there's positive in the opposite point of view, or another point of view, or maybe what we weren't expecting, but maybe we could learn from it, you know? So we have to get the ego out of the way of what it thinks it knows. It's self-righteous part of ourselves. I've seen a lot of myself in the sense of the self-righteous part, thinking I know, but how can I allow more creativity in my life and reflection if I don't allow more that I don't know, right? So anyways, that's what's been coming up for me, but you know, hopefully it's good contemplations for you, and I'm excited to see where the channel continues and how it reveals to me what it wants to be. So in relationship, right? We can really see the reflection of our identity in our relationships when we really allow ourselves to fully be who we are in any given moment, and trust that if I don't feel like doing it, well, or if I don't feel like it's a good video and I don't want to post it, or, you know, it's always an interesting piece, but I think I'm gonna go. I need some water. So blessed new moon. It's on July 5th. And you know what? I don't even have the exact date for you, but I'll put it in the comments or the description for you, okay? All right, I'm going to show you the geese again. Geese have been hanging out with us. Look at that loner geese over there. Oh no, there's another one. Oh, a few. Never mind. I was going to say, loner geese. Alrighty, see you on the next video. Thanks for joining me. And you know, if you got anything out of this video, any good contemplations, let me know. And please do like and subscribe. Definitely like the video, because if you do like it, I want to know if you like it, so I know what kind of content to put out for people. And if you have any requests, I would love to know what they are. I still got to get back to my chakra videos. I just feel like I just haven't felt inspired. I've been really working on doing the transits, but I'm gonna do them. It's just I'm going through some serious changes and transitions that I'm changing up the studio for the videos, and so then I'm gonna do some more stuff like that. But in the meantime, new moon, full moons, I try to make them when I can. And yeah, so if you like it, let me know. If you have requests, let me know. I would love to know what you want to hear about. And then please subscribe. So you get the updates on the new and full moons and what's going on astrologically. Alrighty, see you on the next one.